Hi, St. Paul Elementary School. It's Mr. Underwood, and we're on another Monday, aren't we? I sure hope that you had a wonderful weekend. Let's see what's special about today. Oh, we hit the mother lode, didn't we? It's I Love Reese's Day. Who doesn't love Reese's? It's International Museum Day. Now, we did an episode, I believe it was episode 18, where we talked about all the different museums you could go and do online visits to. So if you want to go back and check out episode 18, go see all those links that we posted to all the online museums. It is National Visit Your Relatives Day. That might be kind of tough to do. But it's also National Send an Electronic Greeting Card Day. So today we're going to use Google Drawings. That may sound familiar to those of you that were in class with me because we used Google Drawings a lot in class. We're going to use Google Drawings to actually create a greeting card that you can send out to your relatives. So even though we can't actually go visit our relatives right now, we can still send them an electronic greeting card, and we're going to use Google Drawings to make one. It's also something else today. Now, those of you that know me and know me well, know I hate these. Yeah, it's No Dirty Dishes Day. That has got to be the worst thing ever, dirty dishes. Anyway, watch this video about Google Drawings and making a greeting card to send to your relatives.
Hi guys, it's Mr. Underwood, and today we're going to use Google Drawings to make an electronic greeting card that you can send to your relatives on Relatives Day. Just a few things to point out to you. Right up here in the top where it says Untitled Drawing is where you can actually rename the file. So you can click there and rename the file whatever you want. I'm going to rename this file Greeting Card. Click anywhere and it saves it. Now, where does this save to? It saves to your Google Drive. So if you're logged into your school account, that's where your files are saved at. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out what size our greeting card needs to be. Right now we've got this big rectangle area here, and maybe that's not the best size that we want to send our greeting card as. So right up here is File. We want to click File. And scroll down if you don't see it, all the way down until you see Page Setup. That's what we need to click next. So we click Page Setup, and Page Setup will display the ratio of our rectangle that we already talked about. This big rectangle in the background is right now a ratio of 4:3. 4:3 is a very common ratio for photographs that you would take on your phone. So we want to change that ratio. If we change it to widescreen format, that would fill the screen of a phone if you were holding the phone this direction, which is horizontal. So if you want to send the greeting card and you want someone to turn their phone horizontal when they're viewing it, this will be the best format to send. Now, we can also change the format to make it kind of look more like a TikTok video. So click Custom to do that. Now, once you click Custom, you'll notice right here you've got inches of 10 by 5.63. To make our background rectangle change from the long ways horizontal to more of the TikTok vertical up and down, all we have to do is change these two numbers. So we're going to flip 10 and 5.63. That's all we're going to do. So we're going to back over the 10 and make it 5.63. We're going to back over the 5.63 and we're going to make it 10. Click apply. Now we have it up and down in a vertical form, which is like the direction you'll be holding your phone in your hand. So if you were just normally holding your phone, this is what the image would look like if you were holding your phone vertical up and down instead of horizontal. So if that's the way you want to send your image to your greeting card image to your relative, then this is the format you would need. Now, it may appear pretty small on your screen. We can actually zoom in. There's a zoom tool right here. So if we click the zoom tool, we can zoom in as much as we need to. And you can use your finger to scroll to the top, to the bottom, or use a mouse, or you can even use your fingers to zoom in with your fingers, whichever way you want to do it. Now, I want you to notice the background of your image. Do you see the white and gray squares everywhere? That's called a transparency. So right now, your background is transparent. It's like you're looking through glass. So the most common question I got in class was, how do I change that background to a solid color? Well, there is no tool up here to do that. There's nothing up here that's going to do that. So there is a workaround. Right here is a tool for making shapes. We're going to click the shape tool and select rectangle. Now what we need to do is we need to make our rectangle be as big as this entire transparency. We're going to have to zoom out in order to do that. We need to be able to see the entire screen. Now that you can see the entire screen, get your rectangle tool and draw a rectangle bigger than your background. So do you see how it overlaps? That is definitely going to cover the entire background. Right now, the shade of color it is blue. So if that's the color you want the background of your greeting card to be, that's fine. If not, you can actually change the color. What we're going to do to change the color is we are going to click on the rectangle. Once you click on it, do you see all these other tools that magically pop up here? That's because these are things you can use on the rectangle. We're going to click the paint bucket tool. Do you see the paint bucket tool? Notice it's the same color as this blue. We're going to change it. I'm going to make my greeting card background a really nice yellow. Now, my greeting card has a nice, bright, friendly, warm yellow background. Let's say I want to put an image of, I don't know, a flower on here. You can go to the image tool. It looks like that. And right next to it is the little arrow tool. We're going to click that. It gives us a selection: upload from computer, search the web, drive photos, by URL, or camera. We're going to click search the web. Now if you look over here in the corner, you see this nice, wonderful toolbox that pops up, search for images, and it's going to search on Google Images. So we're going to search for a flower. Now, if you look right here, you see I typed in flower. I'm going to show you a hack that's going to help you find a flower that has a transparent background around the flower. All you have to do is type in the word transparent. Now we have a search term, flower transparent. If you look through the results, you'll notice that some of the images have white around the flowers. That's because these images are transparent. Images that are not white around the flowers are not transparent. So if you find a flower that you like, that you want to drop into your drawing, all you have to do is drag it over. So I'm going to use this one. Now, do you notice you can still see the yellow background behind the flower I dropped in? Okay, let's say I want to move that flower. Select the flower, and you can actually move it. Google Drawings will actually help you keep it nice and straight on there too. So if I'm going over to the side, it's going to put it to the side. But if I want it to be centered, do you see the red line in the middle? Google is helping me center it. It's centered. Now, why did I put it down there? Because I have room at the top now to write a nice little message. But let's say I want to put another flower in. Maybe I'm sending this to a relative that really loves flowers. So I'm going to search the web again, and I'm going to leave my search term from last time up there, and I'm just going to search for another flower. Let's use this one. Now, do you notice what happened? One flower is on top of the other flower. Why is the new flower on top of the old flower? Because it's inserting the images in the order that you opened them. So, how do we fix this if we want to manipulate the images? Maybe we don't want that flower in the foreground. Maybe we want that flower to be behind the other one. Well, first of all, let's position it where we want it. I think right there. Okay, I want to send that image backwards. So I'm going to long press on the flower, and this menu pops up. This menu is your best friend. If you're using a Chromebook, you would double tap on the image. What we want to do is we want to change the order of the image. So right here is a tool that says order. We're going to click it. And we're going to send the flower backwards. Send backward. Okay, now do you see how that flower is behind the other flower? Probably should have made it more in the center, so I'm going to drag it in this. There we go. There we go, in the center. Okay, but if you're like Mr. Underwood, you like symmetry, I want that flower to also be down here too. So I want two of them. Could I copy it and paste it? Let's use our double tap and see. Copy. Now I'm going to paste. Now if you don't have a paste tool, you can long press and pull up the menu, or if you're having trouble, there is an edit button up here. Click the edit button, and there you will also find a paste option. Now all we have to do is move one of them. But we probably need to send it backwards also. So we're going to double tap to bring up our menu, order, send backward. Let's bring it down a little bit more. That looks pretty good. Alright, now let's get some text on here. So the next popular question I had in class was, how do I insert text? Right here is a text tool. So we're going to click it, and then click anywhere you want on your image. Alright, so we want to type up there at the top. We're not going to worry about any of the formatting right now. All we want to do is get our text up there. So let's go ahead and start typing. I'm going to type Happy Relatives Day. Alright, now that's pretty boring, isn't it? So we're going to fix it. Right up here at the top, you have the ability to change the font style, the font size. You can bold or italicize it. You can also change the font color. That's probably the most popular things you would want to do. So let's play a little bit. Let's change the font to Pacifico. I like that. So in order to change this font to Pacifico, we're going to have to highlight everything that we just typed. Now we're going to change it to Pacifico. That looks happy. I certainly don't like the black, so we're going to change the font color. What would look good against this yellow? Let's change it to a nice purple. Now that's way too small. Let's change it to a larger font size. Let's make it 46. Well, that's a lot nicer. Let's include a special message at the bottom. Let's move that. Let's put it down at the bottom. And let's make it right aligned. Alright, I think the font could still use a little spice. So here's how you can add a little spice to your font. Right up here is a 3-dot menu. We're going to click that while we have the font selected, and we're going to experiment with a few things. Click that and Format Options. Now we have the option here to do several things. The one that probably is going to make the biggest impact is Drop Shadow. And all you did was you added a little drop shadow around your font. We're going to do that to the font at the top also. See how it makes it a little better looking? Now, let's say we want to send this to our relative. How do we save it? Click File, and it gives you several options. You can download it, and then you can actually send it through Messenger or another messaging app to your relative. So when we download it, let's download it as a JPEG. So now I've got it saved on my drive, and I've got it saved on my computer, and I can send it to any of my relatives using Messenger.
So the key to making your greeting card is to actually make sure you go to page setup and set the proportions correct for your card. Once you do that, it's a piece of cake, especially where Google lets you search for transparent images. We also did that in class, so I hope you remember how to do that. Wasn't it such a great, wonderful, beautiful weekend? It's also photography month, so I thought I would just show you this picture I took over the weekend. It was so beautiful, I just had to take a photo. I hope that you get out and take some photos too and enjoy Photography Month. I hope that you send your relatives, since it's Visit a Relative Day, you send your relative an electronic greeting card using Google Drawings. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Monday, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.